Independent MP for Fowler, Dai Le, one of our regulars, joins me now. Welcome.
Hi, PK, Patricia. How are you? Sorry, I'm calling you PK.
It's all right. You can call me anything you want. I mean, unless you were swearing at me, and you're not. So absolutely fine. Now, there's just on that kind of threat assessment and this warning that anti-Semitism hasn't plateaued. Are you concerned to hear that?
Look, I think ASU has a role to play to protect, our country, our society. I know that there's a lot of heightened emotions. Mainly, I sense it from the media. But can I just, for me, for my local community at the moment, Patricia, it's we focus on really kind of cost of living matters. The issues here are really very local, and people are more talking to me more about their energy bills, their insurance bills, their grocery bills, their dental bills. So the cost of living that people are experiencing here. So I know we hear a lot, and I see that being discussed on mainstream media a lot about that. But at a local level, where I am, and my electorate is one of the most multicultural electorate in the country, very diverse, and I have constantly talked about we have to be mindful how to ensure that communities live side by side in peace and harmony.
I think you're right that overwhelmingly, and I've seen and heard it everywhere, Dai Le, it is cost of living that people are dealing with, whatever background they're coming from. That is the one thing that really unites us, isn't it? But
absolutely.
Yeah, right. It's a unifier, the fact that we're across the community, people are struggling. But on this issue around, obviously, the warning around more anti-Semitic attacks, there's been actually some pretty violent attacks in Melbourne that you're no doubt aware of, to Muslim women who are attacked. Are you worried about social cohesion, also Islamophobia in your community?
I think attacking a person because of their religious beliefs is just appalling, full stop. No matter what backgrounds, no matter what religious faith you hold, people should not be attacked, full stop. I think it should be condemned, absolutely, be it, anti-Semitic or being, Islamophobia. I think religious people have the right to practice and follow their faith in Australia. That's something that we really proudly have. I suppose Australia have really embraced the multicultural and multi-faith society that we have. And in particular in my electorate as well, by the way, in Fowler. We're very multi-faith. So I think to hear that, that is appalling. That is shocking to get to that level. And, and I think I've spoken on your program, I think previously too, that I have witnessed so much, violent protests, more, I think, in the last 12 months. And whether it's more coverage or more of that happening than I've ever had witnessed since arriving here, as a kid and growing up here at a time of the White Australia policy. Of course, you hear, comments that are derogatory, but to the level that we're witnessing now, I had not seen that before, and therefore we need to condemn, because at the end of the day, Australia is I believe Australia is a very generous and welcoming country. Most Australians are very welcoming, no matter what backgrounds people are from. They're very welcoming. They're welcome. I keep being reminded how much, how my family, my single mum and my three younger sisters were welcomed into this country. So I will never forget that, how Australians are very generous. So we need to be reminded of that. And I think, the few bad apples, the focus that we're giving on that doesn't mean that the majority of Australians are that violent or attacking or attack people based on their religious beliefs.
Yeah. I just want to move to a couple of other issues. Peter Dutton over the weekend singled you and Allegra Spender out as people he could work with to form minority government. And if you look at...
I don't know if there's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyway, I heard that, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. I don't know. It means that he thinks that you could help him form a government. Now, that's based, of course, on, we haven't had an election, but polling which showed that he could have more seats than Labor. So I want to put this to you. Is he right? Is he the one you would try to form government with first?
Patricia, I've said this to quite a few people. I can't be presumptuous. I still have an election to win. We really don't know, first of all, when the election is going to be called. We don't know the outcome of the election. Yes, there are polling, different pollings. There's some polling that say I'll lose Fowler. There's some polling that say I'll retain Fowler. We really don't know until election day. So we are still running the race. We have not reached finish line yet. So from my perspective, if I am given that opportunity by my community to represent them again, the second term, I'll be so grateful and I'll be so humble. And I can guarantee you, I will work as hard as I have been working and fight more for the resources for my community in Fowler. That's it. No matter who's going to govern. And, we won't know the results of the election to election night. But all I know is that I'm going to continue to fight for my community, because whoever has been in government in the past have forgotten the community in Fowler. In southwest Sydney, lots of migrants, lots of refugees have completely forgotten this area, have not invested in any resourcing, for our hospitals. We don't have an MRI machine at Fairfield Hospital. Our cold aged care facilities, culturally and linguistically aged facilities, don't have the resources to cater to, to our aging population who are apparently there's a rising dementia in our area. So there's so many things that I need to fight for them, and I will continue to do that.
That's interesting. If there is a minority and you're talking to both leaders and all of their people, I imagine it's a manic, busy time. Your chief demands will be in relation to Fowler and making sure you get as much as you can for your electorate.
My community is my priority. That's it. I need to make sure that they will be resourced and will be a focus to whoever is going to be in government.
The other thing that happened on this show a little earlier is Malcolm Turnbull came on. We're talking about some of the international issues, of course, going on. Donald Trump looking like he's siding with Russia over Ukraine, which is alarming many people. And Malcolm Turnbull, as a former Prime Minister, says that the crossbenchers, if there's a minority parliament, should put AUKUS and this alliance with the US on the agenda as you negotiate. Does AUKUS worry you when you hear some of the things that Donald Trump's saying?
When I first got elected, I questioned the spending of AUKUS. Basically, the technology, I felt that in 10 years' time, the money that we're supposed to build these submarines, will that technology still be, modern by the time that it's going to be built? And I questioned the spending at the time when I felt that the cost of living, when I first got elected, because cost of living was my first, but my point of difference in many of the MPs in the House back when I first started, I raised the issue of fuel excise tax cut, which the government still have not, provided any tax cut relief for people driving cars still in southwest Sydney, West Sydney. I talked about the stationary tax cut. And I questioned the money, the billions, that $400 billion that goes into AUKUS, because I think that wasn't something that we should spend our money on. I'm sure, the cost of living will be my priority. And if that's going to be part of the cost of living conversation I'm going to have, I will certainly have that with whoever is going to form government.
Just final question to you. There's a story that's broken this afternoon about 2 Palestinian flags on a tapestry on a display at the National Gallery of Australia. They've been concealed with white fabric. The artists have described it as an act of censorship that they only agreed to reluctantly. Do you think that's appropriate?
By the artists to
no, but for the gallery to cover it.
Well, I don't know what the art looked like. I don't know in what the context of that, what they've done, Patricia. And, you know, I mean, we live in a country where we have freedom of expression. Australia, you know, that's what Australia is about, freedom of expression. And so I think, I mean, that's why I opposed the MAD bill, disinformation bill in the first place, because we need to have the right to express ourselves, right? So, you know, until I actually understand the context of it, I think people have the right to express their views, be it creatively or, you know, yeah.
Dai Le, always great to speak to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia.